Other interesting business news: you have McDonald's suing the meat packaging companies, claiming price collusion. Now, this comes to us thanks to Lyndon Milton, who is a writer over at Fox Business, which, oddly enough, they are also in business. I perhaps account for 18% of their network traffic these days. Only partially exaggerating. I try to look at all the major news sites, get a well-rounded opinion about topics, and yeah, I'll be interested to see if there's any real collusion going on here. Now, again, this comes from Langdon over at Fox News saying, quote, McDonald's sues several meatpacking companies claiming they colluded to inflate beef prices. And you can see the iconic McDonald's arches over there, that logo in one of their stores. Well, they say that meat companies had previously faced federal probes and allegations of price fixing. Now, specifically, they say, quote, the fast food giant filed a federal complaint against Tyson, JBS, Cargill, and National Beef Packing Company, as well as their subsidiaries, alleging the companies engaged in price fixing scheme for beef. The meat companies are accused of anti-competitive measures, including collectively limiting supply to raise prices and charging, quote, illegally inflated amounts, according to the Associated Press. The alleged collusion led the beef market to become a monopoly in which direct purchasers were forced to buy at prices dictated by the meat packers. The lawsuit added that the injury it has suffered as one of the buyers is what antitrust laws were designed to prevent. McDonald's claims that the meat packers began colluding at least as early as January 2015, and that the price was ongoing. The suit says that the meat companies violated a federal antitrust law called the Sherman Act. Companies have previously faced federal probes of allegations of price fixing. Various lawsuits have been filed over years by grocery stores, ranchers, restaurants, and wholesalers. Some litigation is still pending by meat packers and processors, and some have been settled outside of court. Now, wow, that's a pretty big settlement. They say that JBS agreed in 2022 to a $52.9 million settlement in a similar beef price fixing lawsuit a year earlier. Tyson agreed to pay, ooh, this is a big one. It's a lot of chicken. Tyson agreed to pay $221.5 million over a class action claims that a company intentionally inflated the price of chicken. These settlements did not include admissions of wrongdoing, because that's the whole nature of a settlement. Is usually the benefit is to the person suing is you get the cash guarantee up front. If you go to court, you don't know if you're going to get more or less or none at all. And the benefit to the business, more often than not, is again, they're not admitting to wrongdoing. They're paying to make it go away. And it is very common. There's benefits on both sides. It's a mutual beneficial thing. That's why so many cases are actually just settled outside of court, and it's relatively rare for them to actually go to the court and go through the whole process. Now, yeah, that's a pretty big settlement though, $221.5 million. So Tyson thought that if they were to go to court, it would cost them more in PR and legal fees, and perhaps even an actual settlement, than to just pay this near $250,000. Now they say that, quote, meat processors had previously argued that the larger supply and demand factors are out of control, caused the prices to increase, and that they had not engaged in anti-competitive behavior. For example, meat processing plants were sometimes closed during the height of the pandemic, and the industry also faced labor shortages that were worsened during the pandemic, which those are also true as well. And a lot of people are forced to work from home, and you have, a lot more people are trying to eat healthier, go directly to meat manufacturers, trying to not eat out as much. Interesting enough, which is kind of funny because again, so these meat processors sell indirect and direct to consumer, also to indirect with businesses. They say that, but the lawsuits are the latest one from McDonald's, citing increased profit margins during the alleged time of collusion, and argue that the overall concentration of the market helps facilitate collusion. McDonald's lawsuit says, quote, conspiracies are easier to organize and sustain only when a few firms hold a large control share of the market, unquote. Now they say that's a pretty big beef. Well, not just a cliche between the companies in terms of an argument, but in terms of the market share, that's pretty big. Now they note that, quote, data in recent years show that Tyson, JBS, Cargill, and the National Beef control more than 80% of the U.S. beef market combined. Now this is according to the lawsuit. Now, can't but think, there's also probably a couple of variables of why McDonald's prices are increasing. And be interested to see if this actually goes to court. Or if they just, like I previously said, is very common, if they just choose to settle. Now, McDonald's, I am sure their accountants are looking at every single line item. I'm sure they're even calculating if they can just cut 1 cent per what you call the little portable shaky packets of salt and pepper. Because again, fast food is a rough industry to be in, unprecedented increases in cost. Also bad labor, like the states of California, which thought it'd be a good idea to increase the minimum wage for fast food workers to $20 per hour, which subsequently lost about 10,000 jobs. But they got that new law, so they're happy. For about 18 minutes before the people said, we deserve another minimum wage increase because it's causing inflation, which, yeah, you want to increase doing the thing that caused the thing that is your problem, but that's, you get what you vote for in California, eh? Now, an issue with a lot of these fast food places is that there's not a lot of profit margin and the prices of everything is increasing, not just, the labor, which again is a big contributing factor, but also all the components as well. Now, I'm not sure about the variable cost in terms of how much do the costs reduce, how much is the production cost increasing for the actual ranchers and the farmers, and let's see what the comments are. This is one of those fun articles where they actually do give us a little bit of feedback. One of the first ones comes from Sharpshooter, what is it, 181, say, quote, you can't force employers to pay a double increase in minimum wage and double the cost of the shipping without causing a significant cost increase. Add Biden inflation to the equation, and here we are, getting 14 up likes and 0 down likes. Now, that is certainly true for the price to consumer. Now, McDonald's, again, they're suing because of the price of that beef patty. Why is that beef patty increasing in price? And, I mean, I don't think if every single manufacturer of the beef patties were selling it to McDonald's at the exact same price or within like 1 or 2 percentage points, that'd be pretty, as the youth might say, sketch. But again, it's interesting to see. I don't know if they're going to have, the judges are going to have the meat processing plants open their books and kind of show like, well, hey, we had an increase of XYZ factors at our facilities, which is why we increased the price of patty. Maybe perhaps the profit margin is consistent and they simply increased in that regard. It'll be interesting to see, but let me know. Do you think there'll actually be a successful lawsuit? And do you think anything can be done realistically at the end of the day to actually decrease the cost of fast food? It's just because, I mean, the whole value prompt of fast food is basically kaput. I mean, it used to be fast, convenient, and cheap, and it's no longer any of those things. One of my friends, and he's got a relatively small family, he's got a wife and 2 kids. They went to, what was it, a fast food joint, and it cost them like over $50 for Wendy's, which is ridiculous. And also, you don't have to, can't forget, thanks to the ineptitudes of the Republicans and Democrats, you have record high inflation. So that's another variable of why fast food is increasing in price. But it's just so painful to eat out these days. I can't comprehend actually paying for that unless you're on a business meeting and you're paying for the customer. That's, to me, that's like that, or like maybe a date or something. That's the only time I could comprehend like actually paying for food at like a fast food or paying for a sit-down restaurant food. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.